Good morning, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Good morning, my friends. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are on your plan, purpose. Um, it is something that is really important for us to kind of look and doing and continuing to on our journey and continuing to work hard and never give up. And that's going to be the theme of our episode today. First, I want to thank everybody. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm so very grateful for that. And also a lot of comments, lots of comments. I'm going to have to probably figure out a different way to kind of handle all the comments because you guys are doing such a great job providing feedback. And also, I have to say, tremendous support within our group, and I think that's great. We'll talk about that in a second, but thank you so much for all the comments and feedback, and certainly helping out and trying to get the word out. And the main thing that we do on this channel really is kind of talking about how you can kind of become a better person. Now, most of the viewers are men, but I'm not going to exclude women because I think there's a number of women that listen to this as well. And so the main thing is to become the best person you can become. Now, the main part of that topic really is self-control. And it seems like the biggest issue many people have nowadays really is this one of retention. You can call it celibacy. You can call it brahmacharya. We call it sophism. A lot of the different types of terms that are used. But the main thing is to realize that we are serving the Lord, your God, purpose. And the idea is focusing really on trying to say, how can we serve better? Not focusing on a lot of things of the world, the temptations out there, the drugs, the pornography, all the types of things that people can actually kind of fall victim to, as the evil one, in my opinion, is in people, and it allows people to actually sometimes do things they shouldn't be doing, and we get ourselves in trouble a lot. And so now we have to then go ahead and kind of ask for forgiveness and make sure the Lord is recognizing. The main thing is to be able to keep that relationship with the Lord. The reason I started doing this a few years back, and I think I'm at 910 days of no FAP, and monk mode's like over 100 or something like that, 110. I had to go back and look. And obviously monk mode is much harder because you can't have a lot of thoughts to things, and so you have to come back and there's a lot more chances of relapsing and things like that. But the idea, guys, is that you really want to serve the Lord the best you can, and the closer you get to the Lord, and you have to fight these battles every day not to move in the other direction. And if you're thinking too much of the world and too much of things in the world, then you tend to forget about the spiritual side of life, which I think is very relevant and very real. I didn't think that was the case many, many years ago when I was younger, but I do now. And I'm 61 now, so it's taken a while for me to kind of learn those lessons, and I learned those a lot the hard way. All right, so let's kind of talk about something. I was going to kind of focus on a different topic, but Scott Allen sent an email, an email to me, and responded to one of the videos. And I want to kind of talk about this. And I also want to give shout outs to a lot of people like Flex Williams and Jay and Jaden and Bobby Ducks and a number of people, Fresh Start, who came to support the comments that the situation that Scott is in. And I want to kind of talk about that a little bit because there's a lot of good aspects of that. So first of all, thank the Lord. We have a lot of people who have humbleness and understanding of the situations and able to reach out. The only way you can really reach out to people, in my opinion, is if you're humble and you don't think you're better than other people, and now you can reach out and help other people because you realize that they're going through some of the same things you did. And I think in Scott's case, he was talking about some things that are happening to him with his job and finances, and this is a tough time for all of us. The economy and all those things are not doing what they should be doing for a number of reasons. But the thing is, we have to kind of deal with that. And so the key thing is to realize that God has a purpose. And I think that that purpose is sometimes things we don't usually accept because we think, we are kind of God. And so the mistake we make is that we think we're God, so we know better than God. And so, as Emerson once said, that the whole course of life is to teach us faith. And faith that we don't know really a lot what's going on, God knows it. And all we can do is the best we can do to make decisions that the Lord would feel like that is good decisions for us. So, as you think about these type of things will happen to you. And Scott was talking about his job situation, and our prayers go out to you, my friend. I think that you got a lot of support from people in our channel, and I appreciate all that. And thank you guys so much for those comments. And it kind of goes back to one of the topics that Joey and Timbo Cuba talked about, and that's never giving up the battle. Because there's a lot of things that Scott that did well. If you look at what Scott's talking about, yes, he was in running for a job, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. And I know how that feels because I've been there many times. I've been let go several times of companies, and didn't get jobs in other places, and it's disheartening. It's disheartening, and you put so much effort into it, and you thought you had a shot with it, and things are going well, and all of a sudden something like that happens. Well, all that really is a signal to say, okay, I just need to look at correcting some things that might put me over the top next time. However, as Scott's also mentioning, he did a lot of good things. He was on a streak with retention, and he also lost a lot of weight. Good for him. Congratulations. That's wonderful. And those are the positive things that we need to take from this. And it's easy to, when things go bad, it's easy to say, okay, I'm going to stop other things I'm doing in my life. And this is what the devil wants us to do. The evil one wants us to give up hope, be depressed, and continue to move in that direction, and move more away from God than to God. So the best thing to do, in my opinion, is just to keep moving ahead, apply for other jobs, and keep on your streak. Because keeping on your streak is going to give you that strength. And I know this is because how I feel. You're not going to be as anxious. You're not going to be as worried about things happening. You're going to be able to handle those things that are challenges in your life. Now, I'm not going to say defeats, because every time something happens, it's just another seed to a greater success. Something good is going to happen to you, Scott, because you're getting closer to your God, and you're getting closer to the Lord because you're on this journey. So don't leave the journey. It's easy to do that when you start feeling a little down and angry or down or sad. It's easy to say, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I've been there. Many times I've been there. But you can't do that, because then you just compound the problem, and all of a sudden now the feeling gets worse, and now you feel bad about yourself because of that as well, and now all of a sudden the feeling is worse. So you have to really kind of, in your mind, say to yourself, okay, this happened. I can either deal with this in a good way or a bad way. And the good way to handle it is say, okay, those things happen, and I'm just going to go ahead and move on. So you cannot give the battle up, because that's going to hurt you a lot more in the long run. It's like anything else. You have to, at some point, we all have to kind of face rejection. This happens maybe early in life. If it happens early in life, you can handle it and start getting used to it like I did. But then as time goes on, you become a little more of a buffer. You gain a little more of that mental edge, that toughness that you need to kind of go through things, because everything is not going to go perfectly. And that's okay, because that's going to give you another opportunity, another way to move through that. And it doesn't matter if it's with women or it's just with jobs. Rejection is something you're going to see. You're not going to get every job you apply for. You're not going to keep every job. You're going to eventually move on, and sometimes you're going to get fired for different reasons. Some reasons not even something you did anything about. If they lay people off, or the company's having financial problems, they're gonna kind of jettison, cut everybody that they have to. But the thing is, you have to kind of keep the mentality that, you did everything you could, and there may be some things you could correct, and then go ahead and do that. It's wonderful. Because this whole thing is a process of you becoming the best person you can become to be able to serve God's purposes, and God will direct you in those ways. But rejection is not easy. I don't care if it's a woman rejecting you, I don't care if it's a job rejecting you. But the way you have to look at this is, and this is a mental toughness type of thing, that it's their loss, not yours. And if you look at it that way, you can say, okay, fine, that's their loss. They didn't want me, so I'm not going to apply for someone else. Someone else will want me. The same thing goes with women and dating. Too many people kind of take it more defensively, or they're too sensitive to the point where it starts eating them up inside. And you cannot allow that to happen. Because as a warrior, you have to look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is, obviously, you're providing strength, and you're providing other types of things to people. Maybe in your family, maybe you're in a situation where you're by yourself, but you're still providing, and you're still learning those skills. So maybe down the line, God is intending you with a family or other things, responsibilities. So as a responsible person, you're going to go ahead and start continuing to try to make money. Now, job-wise, guys, I always recommend trying to find multiple ways to make incomes. I've always believed in that, and I have several ways that I do it. But it took me a lot of years to kind of figure those things out. So the thing what you want to do is, you don't want to depend on one job. You want to kind of cultivate your skills, build them up, whether you're skilled in doing things like podcasts, or you're skilled in doing things like being a mechanic, or you're skilled at teaching, whatever it might be. Find ways to augment, add to your income, and find ways to add those things in different ways. I knew a guy one time that had 30 different jobs, and he was able to have a lot of freedom because he could pick and choose jobs, and he made money that way. And obviously invested money and saved money, and we can talk about those type of things, if you're interested. I'm kind of, at this point, we're talking a lot about women attraction for this week because people seem to be very interested in that. But retention and everything leads you to also have control of other things. Once again, the Bible talks a lot about control. One of the areas that I struggle with is tithing. So again, another self-control thing. You're supposed to be able to tithe 1/10 of your earnings and live on the rest. That's been difficult. I'll be the first to admit that that's an area that I'm working on. So I have to kind of look at this and say, okay, everything we're looking at is to build a better person in you, so you can serve the Lord better and help society out better as well. So the thing is that you should never give up the battle that you have. The main number one thing that's important is your relationship with the Lord. And through semen retention, through self-discipline, those become better, because now you become focused more on the things you don't see in the world than the things you see in the world. And I think that's a key thing to kind of look at. So when we go back down to Scott's situation, Scott, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I've had situations where I've in 1 week lost jobs, lost relationships, lost money, all kinds of stuff, all in 1 week. They like come in threes, 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. That can hit you. But that, to me, is the evil one. After all these years, I believe that's the evil one coming after you for some reason. And you have to kind of put up your shield and say, look, maybe this is happening, but there's got to be a reason for it. Always a thing to remember, Scott, that I've always remembered, is that, and this is an old saying, but if one door closes on you, that means another opens on you, okay? And I remember my uncle giving me some great advice when it came to women. He said, there's always another person, another woman, out there. There's lots of women, lots of men out there. And so as you attract more because of your vibration, you're going to have those choices. And maybe some will not work out. And maybe it'll be your fault, maybe it'll be the other person's fault. But the thing is, you keep going. The key thing is not the women, the jobs, any kind of material thing around you. The key is your relationship with God and your God, and be able to say, okay, this is the most important thing. Everything else will fall in place, and I believe God will give you a purpose. It may not be the one you think it is. I've been shocked many times myself that things worked out, but not the way I thought. And so God will surprise you a great deal, but you gotta not get upset with it. Don't get disheartened. Once again, I think the evil one loves the discouragement card, because if you lose hope, then they can hit you with everything else. And that's the thing you got to keep. So no matter what's happening, do not get off of your journey. Keep on your journey, and eventually good things will continue to pop up your way. Opportunities will come your way because you're not focusing on all those pictures and releasing. You're focusing on getting things done. And that will lead to more connections with other people. They see that, they see you're a hard worker, and they see something that's going to come out of that. Okay? All right, so anyway, first of all, thank you all the people who sent supporting messages to Scott. That's great. It's great that we're supporting our fellow warriors. I think certainly it shows a lot about all you guys and your characters and integrity to help out a warrior in need here, and I appreciate that a great deal. Scott, I think that the important thing is keep battling, never give up. I always go back to Winston Churchill. You know, he did a speech one time during World War II, and they were getting bombed by Germany left and right, and all of a sudden they almost had, blitzkrieged, and the whole England was, in shambles. London was in shambles, and he just gave a speech saying, he only said 8 words, I think it was, never, 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 never give up. And that's kind of the saying we all need to apply here. Until our last days on this earth, never give up in believing that things will work out your way. Because you have faith, and faith is a key type of thing, and that's how you grow. And obviously retention is the faith that you don't need to use all that energy on something that's not that important. Tithing is another part of faith. All these things are faith-building types of things. All right, Scott, you take care, my friend. Continue, we'll pray for you. Continue to work on your retention, and I know things will work out well for you. All right, as to everybody else, have a great day, everybody else. We'll talk to you guys soon. God bless you guys, and remember, every day is a new day to a wise warrior. Battle on!